came boldly before King Ahab and challenged him. Bring all Israel to Mount Carmel. Bring 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Asherah who eat at Jezebel's table. We will see who's the true God. So the people and the prophets gathered at Mount Carmel. Elijah stood before the crowd and cried, How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. If Baal is God, follow him. The people were silent. Elijah proposed a test. 2 altars, 2 bulls for sacrifice. The prophet of Baal will call on their God, and Elijah would call on the Lord. Whichever God answered by fire would be the true God. The prophets of Baal went first. They prepared their altar, placed a bull on it, and called out, O Baal, answer us. From morning till noon they shouted, danced, and even cut themselves with knives, but nothing happened. Elijah mocked them. Shout louder. Maybe he's in a deep thought, busy or traveling. Perhaps he's asleep, and he must be awakened. They raged until evening, but still no voice, no fire, no answer. Then Elijah called the people near. He rebuilt the altar of the Lord with 12 stones, 1 for each tribe of Israel. He laid the bull on the wood, and to make it even harder, he poured 4 large jars of water over the sacrifice, soaking the wood and filling the trench around the altar. At the time of the evening sacrifice, Elijah prayed simply, O God, O Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant. Answer me, O Lord, so that the people will know that you are turning their hearts back again. Immediately, fire fell from heaven. It burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, the soil, and even licked up the water in the trench. The people fell face down and cried, The Lord, he is God, the Lord, he is God. Elijah commanded that the prophets of Baal be seized, and they were defeated. Then Elijah prayed for rain, and a tiny cloud appeared, growing into a great storm. The drought was broken, and the Lord's power was shown on Mount Carmel. Welcome to the Temple of the Most High. Beloved community, welcome to the sacred gathering at the Temple of the Most High. As we come together today, I sense that we're entering a season where there has been cultivated in secret, but will soon be revealed in public. We are living in times that call for spiritual preparation, not just for personal growth, but for the outward battles and challenges that await us. The Temple of the Most High stands upon the foundational principle. We prepare from within, for the outward battles are to come. The days we spend in quiet devotion, the moments we wrestle with doubt in private prayer, the hours we spend seeking divine wisdom where no one is watching, they are not merely personal exercises. They are strategic preparations for the public demonstrations of God's power that lies ahead. There's a beautiful truth found in the heart of Scripture that reminds us of secrets and depths of our hearts that are not meant for others to validate or understand. They are meant for us to know ourselves and to know God intimately. These private encounters with the divine become the foundation upon which we stand when the world demands proof of what we profess. Consider the athlete who spends countless hours in training, performing exercises that may not look anything like the actual sport where we compete in. A basketball player might spend hours doing seamless mundane drills, dribbling with their non-dominant hand, running suicide sprints, or practicing free throws in an empty gym. To an outsider, these exercises might appear disconnected from the final game. But when the lights come on, when the crowd is roaring, when the pressure is at its peak, it's those very exercises that determine their performance. Their muscle memory built in solitude becomes a strength displayed in the spotlight. Spiritually, we are in that training season. The disciplines you practice when no one is applauding, the faith you exercise when circumstances seem contrary to God's promises, the worship you offer in seasons of waiting, these are your spiritual conditionings. These private moments of surrender, study, and seeking it and preparing you for public demonstrations of divine power. As we gather today, I invite you to see this time not just as a weekly religious observance, but as a part of your preparation for the days of justice that are coming. Days when what has been hidden will be revealed, when the faithful will be vindicated, and when the power of the Most High will be displayed through the ordinary people we have extraordinarily prepared in the secret place. Your private devotion is not separate from your public destiny. It is the very foundation upon which your future victory will stand. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Miss Sheba. Very poetic entry into this. I guess today's session. I want to say session for some reason.
I mean, I think session is appropriate because all we're doing is sharing our thoughts and our messages. And the reason that I did it in that sense, it was like very, as we established this podcast and kind of the things that we're talking about, I like to talk about, or we talk about privately how much this is kind of like a private event, right? That you're having. It's a preparation. I like the analogy of kind of, everybody's seeing these odd exercises people do sometimes that don't look like anything of the sport. And then that helps you to improve your golf swing or some funny movement. And it's kind of the same thing because when you're doing your silent spiritual practices and you are in your quiet place, you are preparing for what you're going to have to demonstrate on the outside world, when you have to perform.
Yeah, the repetition in and of itself is a form that you have to do. You have to really put yourself to be able to do this task over and over and over again. So that when
you do it, it's almost second nature.
Exactly.
It's not something that you have to say, well, how are you supposed to do that again? So you do it so many times that when the time of demonstration comes, you're ready for that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, we always say that we're not always knowing what each other's messages are about, but I felt like the energy of that today, that what you're going to be talking about today is going to be closely aligned with something that we really have to establish inside, and then later on we're going to have to demonstrate to the outside world.
Definitely.
So welcome to this session, as you're going to call it today. So we're going to go straight to the scripture of the day. And the scripture, I guess there's some sound to the fire here.
It seems though.
1 Kings 18:38. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and they said, "The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God." And the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and they said, "The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God." So the name of our message today, brought to you by Kazubel, is "The Elijah in You and the Secret Power Within." I like that.
That's right.
Yep.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, sisters and brothers, beloved students of life. Today I want to talk to you about the power that has always been within you. This is not a Sunday school lesson, and it is not your grandmother's sermon, though you might just shout before it's over. Now let me tell you something right here at the start. Justice is not some big word in a dusty law book, and it's not something waiting for you in the Supreme Court. In its truest form, it is your alignment with the light. It's you saying, "I am the separation of light from darkness in my life." In the Latin, the word justice comes from iustus, meaning righteous, lawful, proper, and complete. Justice is balance. Justice is harmony. Justice is the voice inside you that says, "I deserve wholeness." In Genesis 1:4-5, it says, "And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness." That was the first divine act of justice, or one of them, a separation. The Most High was teaching us even then that justice begins when we distinguish what builds us from what breaks us. But here's a problem, beloved. We live in a world that doesn't want you to separate anything. The world says mix it all together. A little truth, a little lie, a little worth, a little self-hate, a little falsehoods, a little truth again. And you walk around half asleep, half knowing who you are, half knowing what you want. Some are in a zombie state. That's what we call limited awareness. You sense something is off, but you think that's just the way it is. Now picture yourself walking across work or across campus. You've got your books, your phone, your playlist blasting, and all around you are messages, billboards, posts, whispers, expectations. You hear, "Sister, you have to work twice as hard," or brother, you have to hide your emotions to survive. You hear, be grateful for the crumbs because you'll never get the whole loaf. And somewhere deep down, you accept it. Not because you believe it's fair, but because you've never seen anything else. That is the state that Elijah in you was in before Mount Carmel. The Elijah in you represents the I am, the core identity, your divine self. But at first, I am doesn't know its full power. It hears the noise of Ahab and Jezebel, the false god of the culture, and thinks maybe I have to bow to that in order to survive. If you read that story in the First Kings, I believe, it just has a King Ahab and King Jezebel are, I guess, descendants of the children of Israel, and they kind of take their show on a different plight, right? They're not really aligned with the Most High. They're worshiping false gods. So let me continue. Well, let me tell you, you don't have to bow down to nobody but the Most High inside of you. Not the professor who doubts you, not the boss who underpays you, not even that little voice of fear that whispers in your head. Now comes the moment when you start to wake up. You notice the patterns. You see how the system works, how idolatry isn't just about statues, it's about attention. The Elijah in you saw it too. Israel was mixing light and darkness, trying to serve both Yahweh and Baal. And the Elijah had to say, how long will you halt between the two opinions? Let's break that down for today. Yahweh, the truth, the formless one, the source, the pure I am. Or Baal, distraction, false images, the like button, the grind culture that eats you alive. Every time you worship what drains you, you are bowing down to Baal. Every time you focus on what fuels you, you are standing with the Most High. College is full of these altars. You can sacrifice your time to gossip or to growth. You can sacrifice your energy to bitterness or to brilliance. Don't you dare give your divine attention to nonsense. You better place the mind where it can prosper. Now let's be real. Waking up sounds good, but when it's time to move, sometimes we get scared. Elijah had to face this too. He knew the truth, but he hesitated. Why? Because stepping out means confrontation. You might think, if I speak up in class, well, will they think I'm angry? Or if I stop being everybody's helper at work, will I lose friends? If I go after my dream, will I fail publicly? This is the reluctance to change. This is the reluctance to the change stage. It's like standing on the edge of a pool, dipping your toe in the water and pulling it back out. Even Elijah, the prophet, had a Jezebel by his side, a part of him that wanted spectacle and control. The same is true for us. We want change, but on our terms. We want justice, but only if it won't cost us too much. Listen, you cannot tiptoe into transformation. You either dive in or you stay stuck on the shore. At some point, the tension boils over. You get tired of being silent, you open your mouth, and what comes out is power. The Elijah in you, the first weapon, wasn't a word, it was his voice. He stood before the people and spoke the truth. This is where the Psalms come in, what I call the spicy Psalms. These aren't polite little prayers. They are divine decrees. They say, in 1 Psalm 58, break their teeth, O God. That's not violence, that's vibrational warfare. When you speak truth, you disrupt lies. When you declare justice, you summon heaven to earth. Don't whisper your worth, shout it like fire from heaven. Now that you've spoken, you must commit. Not halfway, not when it's convenient, but fully. This is where the secret place comes in. In Psalm 91 it says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. The secret place is not about hiding, it's about strategy. It's where you and the Most High conjure or come together, meaning you swear together. You form a holy conspiracy for your future. Elijah had to step away from the noise and plot with God. Likewise, you must create a space, a physical or mental, where you align with the source. It may be your dorm room. It may be your sanctuary. It may be your closet. Your journal can be a temple. The bathroom stall where you pray before a big exam, that's holy ground. At this stage, the transformation begins. The I am is awakening. but it's still raw. The zeal is there, but it must be refined. In practical terms, you're separating from false altars. You're learning to speak truth boldly. You're setting routines that nourish your spirit. You are preparing for the bigger battles to come. This is not just about fighting external enemies like Ahab or Jezebel. It's about confronting the Baal inside, the internal voices of fear, shame, and distraction. Imagine the Elijah in you standing before the people, trembling but unshaken. He knows a storm is coming. He knows the fire hasn't fallen yet, but he has committed to the Most High in secret, and now he stands ready in public. Likewise, you leave this moment ready to live differently. You won't bow to a false god or a Baal. You won't have mixed light and darkness. You won't whisper when you were born to roar. Now we're stepping into the heart of the journey, the middle passage of your soul's transformation. Before you woke up, you said, I am light, I am justice, I refuse to bow down to false gods or to Baals, idol gods. That awakening was powerful. But let me tell you the truth. Waking up is only the beginning. Now you must move differently. This is where dreams become decisions and decisions become demonstrations. And every demonstration brings a reaction. At first, you start small, you experiment. Think of Elijah. He didn't call down fire on day one. No, first he learned to speak, to declare, to observe the system around him. It might be in your collegiate life or it may be at work. This is like testing out your new boldness. Maybe you speak up in class discussion where you need to stay silent. You set boundaries at a work environment or a friendship that was draining you. Or you start a group chat about mentorship or advocacy. These are small experiments, but they shift the atmosphere. Don't despise small beginnings. A candle still lights up the dark. Your first step doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be yours. The key is to notice what happens inside you. When you stand for truth, fear will show up. That's normal. Fear is like smoke. It appears when fire is near. But fear also teaches you. It shows you where the battle really is, not just out there in the world, but inside your own mind. As you experiment, you realize, oh, this is serious. I need to be ready. Elijah didn't just show up on Mount Carmel empty-handed. He prepared the altar carefully, stone by stone, wood by wood. Likewise, you must prepare yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and even intellectually. Gathering knowledge about the systems confronting you. I should say preparing looks like gathering knowledge about the systems you're confronting, studying laws, policies, or histories that affect your community, building rituals or routines that keep you grounded, prayer, journaling, meditation, to say a few, finding mentors and allies who are aligned with your vision. You can't show up to a firefight with a wet matchstick. Preparation is the key weapon of the divine. This preparation is also inner work. You must check your motives. Am I doing this to be seen or truly to serve? Elijah was on this stage and he was wrestling with his ego, or was an outward demonstration of the Jezebel current. The urge for total control and drama had to be named and released, and so do you. Now, then comes a moment. The stage is set. The crowd is watching. This is Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel stands for the center of spirituality, which is located in man's body consciousness and the top of your head. Your public demonstration. You can only do what you know. That's why you got to know what the Most High has for you today. For Elijah, this was the fire from heaven consuming the altar, proving once again and for all who the true God was. For you, this might be giving a presentation on college that challenges stereotypes, launching a project that uplifts your fellow brothers' voices, standing up for injustice in a public forum, even if your voice shakes. The esoteric truth here is that fire is just not literal, it's symbolic. Fire represents purification, clarity, and verification. When the fire falls, everyone sees the truth. There's no debate, no spin, just pure power. When the fire falls, the idol worshippers don't have to like you, but they cannot deny you. Now, let me warn you, after the fire, there will always be smoke. When you move boldly, resistance rises. Elijah had to face Jezebel's wrath immediately after his victory. She sent threats, and Elijah had to fled, discouraged and tired. You will face this too. Maybe the people will misunderstand your motives. Maybe friends will fall away. Maybe systems will push back even harder. This is a testing phase. The danger here is burnout. Elijah did almost gave up under the broom tree, crying in 1 Kings verse 19, verse 4, "It is enough." But don't quit in the middle. The storm always rages hardest right before the breakthrough. The lesson here, you must not rely on outer fire. You must return to the inner whisper, the still small voice of the Most High. The voice will guide you when the noise is loud. This brings us to rededication, the true heart of the final movement. Elijah thought the victory was about outward power, but the Most High taught him a deeper truth. The whirlwind is dramatic, the earthquake is loud, the fire is dazzling, but the real transformation comes through the whisper, the quiet, steady voice of the Holy Spirit. This is where Elijah begins to transform into Elisha, from raw zeal to refined wisdom, from force to authority. For you, rededication might mean returning to your secret place, reconnecting with your original purpose, and listening deeply before acting. This is where justice becomes a way of being, not just a series of battles. Now, you have to repeat to yourself, I am the whisper, I am the fire, and I am the justice that flows like a river. From this day forward, my actions are holy, my voice is powerful, and my purpose is unshakable. We started this journey blurry-eyed with limited awareness, half asleep to our own divine personal power. We confronted the false altars in our life, separated light from darkness, and woke up. Then we moved. You experimented. We prepared. You faced fire. You endured consequences, and you rededicated yourself to the whisper of the Most High. And now you stand at the crown of the circle, ready to claim mastery, ready to step into your role not just as a fighter for justice, but as a keeper of justice. At this point, you've been tested. You faced your Mount Carmel moment. The fire fell. You endured the smoke of backlash and the silence of the secret place. And now comes a final attempt, that climactic act of faith or trust. For Elijah, this was the moment of transition. He had to walk to the river Jordan with Elisha at his side. The crowd wasn't there this time. There was no cheering voices. It's just him, his successor, and the Most High. He struck the water with his mantle, and the river parted. This wasn't about showmanship. It was about passing on the power. For you, this is where you ask yourself, who am I becoming? Whose lives will be changed by the choices I made today? It's one thing to win a battle for yourself. It's another thing entirely to clear a path for somebody else. Don't you dare graduate from this season and leave the next sister stumbling in the dark. This is the difference between success and significance. Success ends with you. Significance multiplies through others. The final attempt isn't just about victory. It's about legacy. And here we are, the moment of mastery. In 2 Kings 2, 9 through 11, Elijah is taken up in a whirlwind, and Elisha receives a double portion of his spirit, symbolizing maturing of the I am. A lot of times the people think that it's a literal figure in Elisha or in Elijah, but it's really different versions of a concept still within the same person, right? So there's a time where you're going to be Elisha, going to be demonstrating, going to be calling on this power, and then there's going to be a time where, because you've demonstrated this power, you already have the authority and you're just going to walk with it. When you reach mastery, you are no longer need to shout to prove who you are. The presence speaks. Your decisions ripple out like quiet waves on a vast ocean. Beloved, this is where you walk into a room and the atmosphere shifts before you even open your mouth. That's not ego. That's alignment with your divine order. In Psalm 89:14, it says, "Justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne." At this stage, justice is no longer something you chase. Justice flows through you. You become a walking, breathing embodiment of the Most High's harmony. For a student, this might mean mentoring younger students and showing them the ropes, creating initiatives that will last after you complete your task, using your degree, your skills, or your network to dismantle false altars and real-world systems for others. This personal victory becomes communal transformation. In the story, Elijah drops his mantle as he ascends, and Elisha picks it up. The mantle represents responsibility and continuation. The question is, who will pick up what you leave behind? Your words, your actions, your example. If you've done the inner work, if you've aligned with the whisper, your mantle will carry power after you've moved on. When you walk across the graduation stage, don't just grab a diploma. Drop a mantle. Leave something behind that makes it easier for the next soul to rise. This is the beauty of mastery. It multiplies. Think of it like this. When Elijah called down the fire, the people shouted in amazement. But when Elisha stepped into his role, he brought healing, provision, and stability to the nation. The fire was necessary to wake up people from the whisper. The fire was necessary to wake up people, but the whisper builds the future. Your life should move the same way, from disruption to creation, from protest to policy, from reaction to vision. This doesn't mean you'll never face opposition again. It means you now face it from a place of centered power. As we close, imagine this scene. The circle is complete. The same student who once tiptoed in limited awareness now walks boldly in mastery. She is no longer just fighting injustice, she embodies justice. The Most High reigns through her, and her reign is not about domination or illumination. Like a lighthouse, she guides others safely through the storm. Beloved, you are the Elijah and the Elisha of your own story. The whirlwind, the fire, the whisper, they all live inside of you. You have to remind yourself that I am the justice that cannot be denied. You have to remind yourself that I am the light that shines in darkness. You have to remind yourself that I am the mantle bearer, the path maker, the world changer. And so it is, and so it shall be.
Amen. Amen. There was a lot in there. Thank you for that, Kazabel. There's a lot in there. So we're going to move into the discussion phase, and I'm definitely going to need you to kind of confer to your notes and some of the things that you said. But as you were reading, I was, naturally, this is what I do even when I'm in church. I kind of read the story that's associated.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't mind, I was just going to give like a little background.
Yes.
And it says... I'll give like a little short one. It says, the land of Israel was in terrible drought. For 3.5 years, no rain had fallen because the people had turned away from the Lord to worship Baal, a false god.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems as if their king, Ahab, and Queen Jezebel, they're the ones, because Baal was the god of rains and things like that, had led the people, I guess, away from God into a new word that we learned really recently, apostasy.
Apostasy.
Right? Isn't it?
Yep.
To reject, a certain dogma or religion and
Way
go
of
to
thinking.
another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I guess they convinced them of idol worship.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Well, I mean, they were not thinking of it as, they were convinced that that was a God they should be worshiping to end this drought.
It's so interesting in the Bible. To me, it's kind of repetitive and redundant. Like the quote unquote children of Israel are always going through a long period of time where they are literally worshiping another entity.
Like literally going from seeing miracles like in real life from God to still choosing other gods constantly. It's like, I don't want to get too off topic, but isn't there a story in the Bible where God makes one of his prophets marry a prostitute, and then the prostitute just keeps doing all of these things just to show the level of unfaithfulness that the Israelites are capable of.
Time and time again. So
constantly bringing back. And I thought that was interesting in kind of like your point. And you were saying that, I guess, that the confusion that's where the confusion starts.
That's where the confusion starts because, okay, Elijah is an allegory within the story, right? It's put in the story to make a main point, right? You have your nature, you have your heavens, you have the heavens and the earth, everything that the Most High created, and you have the children of Israel, you have Adam, you have all these patriarchal figures in there, right? But the main tenet is, hey, whatever you guys do on earth, right, keep the Most High first. When you don't keep the Most High first, things go awry.
Because
Because
it seems like, I mean, I don't know what you think of when you say I am, but when you think of like keep the Most High first, that means that the Most High is almost in competition with other thought patterns. God is in competition with other thoughts. Like if it's Baal, if it's something else, it's like it's something else that's competing for that spot.
And so what happens is, okay, now you have a ruler, Ahab, who is supposed to be the ruler of this land, right? Supposed to be enacting probably economic policies, legal policies as well, et cetera, to run a country. But if you're not running it on the principles that are from the divine, operating divine law, then you're going to have injustices in there.
Yeah.
That are going to be a detriment to the people, right? And when it goes on and on and on, somebody's going to complain. Somebody, if they're going to say, well, this is the
So
God.
what's the injustice that you're saying?
Well, in the story, they started to, under Ahab's reign, they started to murder a lot of the prophets.
Oh, okay.
Right? Of the Most High.
Yeah.
Right?
So not only are they encouraging the people to serve Baal, but they're also killing anybody who's saying otherwise.
Correct.
And that's what I thought was so interesting about what you were saying. It's almost like Elijah decided to put himself on the line to come and challenge this whole thing.
Because he's a prophet, right? So at the
I mean, there could have been somebody else, and somebody else didn't want to do it.
They were scared because they got murdered.
And I guess he was willing to go all the way.
Now, again, this is where it becomes allegory, right? But again, that's why I say Elijah in you, because at some point, you're looking at around in your situation and you can see there's injustice, right? And no one else is going to come to that room and start to take care of the injustice that you are witnessing. So just the same way that Elijah would say found the courage to now go against King Ahab and his murderous wife Jezebel, right? Just to let you know the mortal threats that were beholding unto him, he had to go inside first to the Most High, get himself spiritually aligned or spiritually confident to now be able to go and demonstrate that, hey, this injustice is going to stop.
Right. And it's not like he had to do that completely on faith. It's not like God said, this is what I'm going to do. When you build this altar, this is how I'm going to...
Right.
This is how I'm going to show up. So it's like if somebody's standing at the door and they say, ta-da, and it's like, is anybody going to come out? Is anybody going to come out? Like he still would have to put himself on the line. And I wanted you to kind of go over something that you said on the characteristics of Yahweh versus the characteristic of Baal that you were talking about.
Right. So a lot of times when they, especially in the Bible, they already have a fixed characterization of what Baal can do, right? As soon as you do that, that's an idol god, right? So it could have been other deities. I'm not going to name them to offend anybody, but anytime you kind of personify a certain deity and say, well, this is it, this is what brings us to rain. No, that's not bring you to rain, right? So what happens is people get fixed on it, people start becoming emotional about it, and then they're willing to kill for it. Ultimately.
Right, but you actually characteristics.
Right. So the Most High is formless in a sense. You really cannot.
No, I mean you actually had characteristics you listed.
Oh, sorry, I don't have that in my notes here, particularly.
Yes, you do. You said them. That's what I was trying to say. You had like these are the characteristics of Yahweh, and these are the characteristics of Baal. I mean, you can keep making your thought. I just thought that was interesting, but if you don't remember what it is.
I mean, because again, the characteristics that they're going to prescribe to Baal is going to be a fixed list. And as soon as you have that list, that's not it, right? You're already off the path, right? The Most High is the list, and then it's not, because the qualities are just that much more. And that's why, in my opinion, that's why the Bible says in the first commandment, you shouldn't have other God before me, right? You could have had Baal and then still say the Most High, in my opinion, right? But because now they only said Baal, you're not including who gave Baal these powers.
Yeah.
To cause rain and to cause fertility on the land, if that's what they want to attribute him to. Right? Yeah. Distractions, false images, the like button, grind culture. You know, those, again, like if we say for the grind culture to bring it in a real time sense, like, oh man, I can only make money through this. That's a idol god. That's not true, right? The Most High is looking at the situation like, no, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. But if you're not open to it,
Yeah.
how are you going to receive?
Yeah. The other thing that you were talking about, you were just talking about vibrational warfare, which I thought was an interesting point, because that literally using your voice is a part of that power that you're using. I don't even know.
Yeah, there's very interesting Bible verses as I've read. Well, especially in Psalms, has a lot of like violent texts that if you're reading this for yourself and in your situation where injustice, you may want some teeth to be broken, right?
Mhm.
Because
Are you
obviously,
saying that's what Elijah was saying too?
no, well, obviously he burned them. In the story, after the fire came down, they came and slew all of the other Baal prophets,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I don't want to say it's like an eye for an eye, but like what is going to be bringing to you, it's almost like you want to reflect and just put that back on them.
Yeah.
In a sense, that's what I mean by the vibrational thing, not to receive the injustice, but to send it back to the sender.
Yes.
So,
You want me to read any more of the story, or that's good? Yes, and then the last thing I was going to say is the interesting, you said yes, read more of the story, or
yeah, go ahead.
yeah? So, and then it says, then the prophet Elijah came boldly before King Ahab and challenged him, bring all Israel to Mount Carmel, bring 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Asherah, who eat at Jezebel's table, who will see who is the true God. So the people and the prophets gathered at Mount Carmel. Elijah stood before, he must have been very afraid, and said, how long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. If Baal is God, follow him.
Again, the story is allegorical, right? I don't know if Elijah actually really existed, right? And et cetera, et cetera. However, because the scene is already set in your mind, right? You'll see how this situation overcame. Now, in your real life, there is a Ahab, there is a Jezebel, right? You do have to speak up. At some point, you do have to build within yourself to say, hey, we're going to confront this. Now, if you're going to do that, as you see in the Bible, Elisha conferred with the Most High first.
I'm going to have to give you a hard time. You have to give me your definition of justice. I want to know like what you're talking about when you mean justice.
Justice means when you see something.
What is the allegorical, what is the thing that what are you calling justice? Like,
justice
what are you
is when you see something wrong, right? And you want something to be right.
For example,
you could be going through a mortgage, what's the word? A foreclosure, right? And you just may feel like it's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
You want justice. You're going before the magistrate. You're not receiving justice. Okay. Now you have to go through if you're not going to get it in the courthouse, you're going to have to ask the Most High to give it to you. And you will receive it. There was a time, even in this country's history, they always say, oh, the Boston Tea Party, okay, no taxation without representation. That's that signal of we're not receiving justice and we want it, and they got it, right? Now, the same thing in your real life. If you're experiencing injustice and you already written it out, I remember that famous YouTube lady, we want justice, we want justice. Well, if you want justice, who are you going to ask for? You're going to ask for the Most High? Or you're going to ask for somebody else? Elijah, in the story, was so enamored by the injustice that he said had to do something about it.
But was he really enamored by the injustice, or
Absolutely.
was he enamored by I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think that. Yes, it's one thing for the prophets of God to be killed, but I don't think that's what was outraging Elijah. It had to be the fact that they were worshiping another god, a false god.
And two, again, this is King Ahab, Jezebel, for the people, for the nation, putting another false god in front of them. In the real world, I would say, you can look at and say, okay, who are the worshipers? Who are these people are behaving a certain way? Who is a God that they're aspiring to? They're going to say it's this God. They're going to say it's Jesus. It's this or that, right? The behavior bears a fruit in a sense. And if you're looking at the fruit and you're saying it's bad, well, then that is coming from a principality that they have in their mind, right? Now, if you're looking at it like, this outcome is not good, this fruit is not good, you're going to have to on earth, going to have to call within your divine or go to the Most High, ask for justice so that it can come in as a favor, because obviously it's not being demonstrated here.
So you're really more talking about in a communal way.
In a communal way, in a community, in a larger aspect, right? There's cases of, in the real world right now, there's cases of children being taken away and trafficked. They need justice.
Okay.
Right? There's so many instances where justice can be called. I'm sure everybody on the line could kind of call for it and say, yes, yeah, we do need justice, because it's not in the courts. It's not in the streets. It's not in my neighborhood. Right? But now that's why I say the Elijah in you, you're the one who has to come out for it in a sense. And before you go out and do it, because it is risky, you really do have to ask for guidance of the Most High so that fire can come down, right? So that your enemies can't be sown, so that you can break their teeth, as they say in the Bible, right? Divine justice. Divine justice.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about something else, so I made notes based on something else.
No, go ahead.
Because, I don't know, you have more of a really true justice kind of slant to it. So, my thoughts,
because that's where
my thought patterns were not on that.
No, because that's what the story beckons. Do you know what I mean? Like in the whole story, you have King Ahab, you have Jezebel kind of running amok, according to Elijah, right? You got the prophets murdering people. Right? Anytime you have murder in a society, you already have a problem. Why are we murdering people? Number one, right? So then, in this story, he confers with the Most High. He goes out, challenges Ahab, telling me to bring your prophets, bring your priests. We're going to have a showdown to see whose God is really God, because that's obviously the one you're serving. If you're doing all these murderous things, like what thought form is there? What is inspiring you?
Right. So the last thing I was going to talk about was I kind of like the part that said after Elijah had gone and ran away, and he said, the Lord said, go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by. Then a great and powerful wind tore through the mountain, but the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake came a fire, and the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. And I guess that's when he heard. So just like that concept that necessarily where we think these thunderous thoughts might be coming from, that maybe they're more in the still quiet places.
Definitely in the still quiet places. They're definitely in the still quiet places. And all those earthquakes and winds or tornadoes, they're really just symbols of like, okay, this is the natural imbalance that you're seeing, right, on earth. With the concept of injustice, you're seeing all this injustice happening, but you need to hear the still small voice that says, okay, this is what you're going to do, and then you're going to do this, because you have to protect yourself at the same time, right? You don't want to be one of the people who get eliminated during your cry for justice.
Very, very interesting word today, Kazabel. Justice.
Justice, from Elisha's perspective.
From Elijah's perspective of justice. Sorry. Did you want to say anything else?
No. It's time for the
benediction.
Blessings and the benediction.
All right. As we prepare to depart from this sacred gathering, receive these ancient words and that have blessed God's people for thousands of years. May the Lord bless you, not with just material provision, but with divine favor that opens doors to no human hand can close and creates opportunity beyond your imagination. May the Lord keep you, protect you in his loving embrace, sheltered from the storms of life and anchored in his unchanging love when everything around you shifts. And may the Lord make his face shine upon you. May you feel warmth of his presence, see his hand at work in your circumstances, and experience the radiance of his love illuminating even your darkest moments. May the Lord be gracious to you, extending mercy when you stumble, offering forgiveness when you fall short, and providing strength when you feel weak. And may the Lord turn his face towards you, giving you his full attention, listening to your prayers and responding to your heart's deepest longings. And may Lord give you peace, not the temporary calm that comes from favorable circumstances, but the deep, abiding peace that transcends understanding, that remains steady regardless of what you face. Go forth knowing you are blessed, kept, seen, loved, heard, and covered in divine peace. In the name of the Most High.
Amen.
Amen. Ashe Islam.
And Islam.
So,
Go ahead.
so what did you think your main point was? Like, what was your main point? Because I missed it.
The main point is that there is justice. You have to call for it in
But
the
you're
same.
talking about in the court of law.
No,
That's
I'm
what
not.
you're talking
I'm not
about.
talking about in the court of
So
law.
help me. What justice? Just the injustice that you see in
Just
the world?
injustice that you see in the world. Elijah did not go to the court of law.
Okay.
But he went to a high authority. He went to an authority to demonstrate, hey, there is a divine order on here. I'm on the powerful side. I called down fire from heaven. Here
So
it is.
you're just saying Elijah is standing up for what's right.
Correct.
So in the real world, what are you talking about? You're talking about foreclosure? Like what are you like?
No,
What is
I
your
gave the examples. If you go to school, maybe you have to stand up and go to school. Maybe you have to break away from.
stand up and go to school?
So maybe you have to stand up at a school and say your point. Maybe within a group setting, you have to break away from that, right? You have to stand up. You have to Elijah it.
For example,
I just said it.
no, you said if you're at school and you have to stand up. Okay, so tell me what that means. What does that mean?
That means when you
Like, give
when
an
you
example
see it, when
of
you
when
see,
you see an injustice
when
in
you
the
see
real
an
world.
injustice, maybe
Like-
at work, right? You're in a group setting. They're chatting too much. I gave that example in there, right? You're gonna have to address it, Elijah it, stand up, address it, and do something about
So
it.
that's justice to you.
That's justice.
The fact that you see something in the real world that you think is wrong.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Yes.
Okay, so then if you're saying that that's justice, then what's the false God? What's the Baal reference?
The Baal
What's
reference.
the Baal reference for the injustice then?
That is the reason why the injustice is happening, because obviously the other people that are causing the injustice are operating from a different mindset, right? They're not operating from the same principle as you. If you think that the principles that you're operating in are more superior, then you're going to have to demonstrate it. They obviously believe that what they're doing is fine. That's why they're doing it, right? But it irks you. It bothers you, right? If you're talking about the thing at work, at some point you're going to be like, yo, I got to dead this. You have to stand up for it. If not, then Baal's going to keep doing what they're doing for another 50 years, 40 years. They're not going to work. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do nothing.
Okay. I missed that.
I know.
So because you didn't put it all together, because now, okay, then what is the I am part then?
The I am part is the Elijah is the I am in you. And I said that in you. Elijah in you. The way that Elijah did it on there, the Elijah in you has to do the same way.
So what's the I am? Oh, the fact that you are Elijah also.
You are Elijah.
You're Elijah also.
You're Elijah.
So you are Elijah that has to dole out this justice.
Yes. That's
Okay.
you.
I didn't get that at all.
I know.
So I don't know. I was missing it. I was trying to get it, but what happens is sometimes when you're saying a lot of things, I'm like, okay, but what are you saying? You know what I mean? Because, okay, so justice. Now I understand what you're saying about justice. Now the I am. What are you saying about the I am? That I am Elijah.
I am Elijah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I am Elijah.
I am Elijah.
Okay, so be Elijah. So be the Elijah in
Be
the
the
situation.
Elijah in you before you. I said that in there. Before you
and
go
be
out,
willing.
go into your secret closet, make your thing with the Most High, and the Most High will tell you what to do. That's a faith thing. That's a trust part, right? But the Bible story makes it an allegory so that you can see, oh, it kind of happened already. You have to believe that, but just have to believe it inside of you as well. Because at the same time, if you're going to go and confront the the injustice at school or at work, you should prepare first before you just go out and start seeing what you see, because you're gonna get murdered without the support of the Most High, right? So that's why I'm saying, when you see the injustice, right, it already bothers you. It's already you already see it. It already smells. It's a stench. So now you say, okay, you know what, Most High, I see this. You know, the Elijah in me. What am I going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? That's why I said in the beginning, you're going to conjure together with the Most High in the secret place to go and address this problem, because it's a problem. You're looking at it, and when you want to address the injustice, go to the Most High.
You know what it makes me think about is, like, if you're like in a group of people, and you don't want to say something, but then one person, everybody thinks the same thing. And then finally one person in the whole group be like, I'm going to put myself on the line and say what everybody is saying inside their heart that doesn't want to say what they really want to say, because you don't want to be the person to go down. Because just as the story, because they do kill the messenger. They do kill the messenger. Yeah, they do kill the messenger, and you would be dead. In my opinion,
that messenger was not protected by the Most High. You didn't ask the Most High.
I don't know about that.
I'm saying that.
No, I don't agree with that. Because if you say in this story that previous prophets were basically getting killed based on this belief that they were still preaching for the Most High, and everybody else was going for... Let me finish. So if you're saying that God did allow, and you will see other people fall by the same thing that you were trying to say, other people will go down. You can't say it's because...
I don't know if that's the case. All it says in the Bible is that Jezebel murdered certain prophets.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
I don't know if they were saying anything like Elijah. Clearly they were not.
How you know? No, they're probably saying the same thing as Elijah. They probably were like, don't worship Baal.
This is a story. Do you understand? This is a story, right? Elisha communed with the Most High, was already talking. In the story you'll read, you're talking to the Most High before he even went there, right? There was a prophet who came to him and was like, yo, don't even go to him, because he's murdering prophets. And he's like, I already talked to the Most High, basically. Get out of here. I'm gonna go.
But then I'm pretty sure he's like, well, if I die, I die.
That's what he said. If I die, I die. But that again goes to the I am.
Because I mean, what does he have to lose?
That again goes to the I am that's inside of you.
It's like you could go and fight to the death, or you could wait till they come get you and slay you. So you might as well go and say, let's do this. Do you know what I mean? Like at some point you're going to have to say, okay, that's enough. Let's do it.
But that is before that. That's why I say, before you go and address this injustice, before you get murdered, right?
I mean, you might get murdered. You don't know.
No, that's not the point, lady. That's not the point to get murdered.
But what I'm saying is that other people got murdered for the same thing.
Not for the same thing, honey. They just got murdered because they were aligned with the Most High, right? That's what the story says. I'm going to stick to the story because I think the story just trying to put a certain point. I'm sure any of those prophets could have done the same thing that Elijah did and had the same outcome, but I don't know if they did. But that's the story. They
didn't have the same outcome.
That's the story. I don't know what they did. But
listen, without the risk of it, I'm sorry, I have to beat this point down. If you're trying to say I am Elijah, without the risk of death, that other people already died saying the same thing that you're going to say. He didn't go and say, don't worry, everybody. I'm going to say something different than them, so they're not going to kill me this time. That's not what he said. He said, I'm still going to do it even though other people before me got...
And why?
Because he believed and he had faith.
He already had this so I'm saying he already had this communication with the Most High, a feedback. It's not like he just went on a whim. That's not what the Bible declares the story as. Okay. He was already working with the Most High. The Most High said to go talk to him. Now, if to TV land out there, this will be a good one. You believe in the God Most High. Okay, you really do need to make a special relationship with this entity. So you're making sure you're talking to the right one, not no false one, not your ego, right? Because you can get murdered, for sure, for real. Now, if you now have gotten this understanding because you have this connection with the Most High, you come in the Word, you're going this, you're doing that, whatever you say, all the mantras that you may do, the routines and repetitions, rituals, whatever, meditation, then you will get the inclination to go. Not on your own will, but because, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this.
And
I'm
put yourself
not gonna
on the
die.
line.
And I'm not going to die.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I agree with you, but I'm saying that the fact that you could die is why it's such a courageous feat. If it were so harmless, nobody would be talking about it and just go do it. It's obviously something that requires a bit of courage because there's so much on the line. You're putting your life on the line to speak this truth,
Right.
to try to fight this
But
injustice.
if you talk to the Most High in this courageous moment, in this fearful moment, again, it's not, to me, it's not a thing of, it's more fear. It's more courage and fear, a little bit of both, a bit of both. But because you have this relationship with the Most High, you can go past the fear and go into boldness.
Well, obviously, maybe somebody else did hear it too, and they just didn't make no action on it.
Right. And this is why.
I mean, he went to action on it. He petitioned to say, let's do this. I'm going to show you. You could show me, and I'm going to show you.
That's what he said.
And to the point that they got everybody to come.
He said, bring your
There was
prophets.
an audience.
There was an audience.
It wasn't just, and they bought, I don't know, maybe I need to read the story again, but it didn't say that Elijah came with 20 guys.
No.
They said they came with 450, 400. So they came with 450, 400, and Elijah came with one.
And the Most High.
And the Most High.
That's
so
all
it's
you
like,
need.
and what, this is a story I remember from, childhood. And they poured water on it just to make sure it was nice and soggy. It's not like anything could catch fire on easy.
Now, if this is a real story, okay, and he's something like I have seen before, a dramatic, confident person, he said, put some more water on there.
Yeah.
And then what happened afterwards?
Fill the trench.
Fill the trench. And also, too, the people of Israel were there as well because they were the ones wavering. He said he's not really talking to Ahab and Jezebel.
No, he said, how long
are y'all going to waver between these two? You're going to do the Most High work or you're going to do Baal?
Yeah.
You need to work this Job to get this money or you can do something else. You need to date this kind of guy to get this kind of love. You're going to try something else. Whatever the situation is, right? You're not really fixed to it, but you have to choose, right? And it's better to choose with the Most High. It's a win-win all the time. No doubt about it. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and everything will be added unto you. So, that's the thing. That's the faith.
Okay.
Yeah? That makes it 50 minutes.
I don't know if you should keep that other one. I wasn't being real with you.
Anything else?
I'm just being honest. I got to be honest because I will give you the version you want.
You need to go to the mic.
I will give you the version you want for a clean discussion, or I will tell you if I missed it.
There's no
that's
problem.
That's just the point of it.
That's fine.
Because I'm like if you, I wish you would watch it again. If you discuss it, it's one thing, but it's like when you're going through it, I think you're trying to say this, and that's what you're saying, but you're not saying because you don't give any illustrations, real life illustrations. So I can know what you're talking about. And when I asked you, you said foreclosure and stuff. So I'm like, well, what are we talking about? I don't know what we're talking about.
Now, again, I could paint this thing of injustice, right? But for the audience who's listening.
I know, but that's why you have to tell them what kind of, because I wasn't getting it. I could come up with my own stuff, but I wasn't coming up with what you were coming up with.
It's not the point for me to come up with.
I know, but
for you,
I'm talking about your point, not my point. My point. And you have to remember what's in your things. Because I have more questions of that, but I'm going to say if I said that, you would be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Like what?
When you were talking about vibrational warfare, I was going to talk about like how, but I don't even know what's the voice. When did Elijah use the voice and why were you saying that?
I said the vibrational warfare because if Elijah is already seeing the injustice, he's already saying things in his own self, right? But he wants to align with the Most High. That's why I put the Bible verse from Psalm 58. Lord, break their teeth. Something like that. It's still in Holy Writ. You're still asking the Most High to break their teeth. I want you to be, am I in the same vibration? Is that okay? Is that okay? Right? Then, that's
why? Because the Most High was going to tell you, turn the other cheek?
The Most High say, no, we're going to break their legs.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Right? If you see injustice, right, you already have yours. No wonder
we don't get justice, though. No wonder we don't get justice.
Why?
Because I think in most situations, people are not praying that prayer. They're not like, burn this thing down. They're not saying that. They're like, oh, well, I'll just ignore it.
That's what
or,
I'm saying.
Oh,
Then,
I'll just
listen.
you
People,
know,
people then
not
take
listen.
justice in their own hand, do the murders, do the killings.
I mean,
do all the
but that's
kidnapping,
not
all
the
that
regular
stuff.
person. The regular person just
Okay.
ignores it, lets it continue.
But
The regular person just
but
would love somebody else like an Elijah to come up and do that,
This
and they'd
is
be like,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
That's
but
why I
they're not
say-
going to be the person to come
that's
up.
why I say the Elijah in you, right? Because all of these stories are allegorical. In this particular one, this week is Elijah, right? But the Elijah in you. These Bible stories are not just from one character. This person did this role and that's it. It's really meant for you to capture it and have the Most High dispense justice in your situation. Do your fire from heaven right there in front of you. So that's your testimony.
Well, when that holy fire comes down, I think the point is to make sure that there's no doubt, like where it came from. You know, it's like I heard this testimony. I mean, not this testimony, this prayer, and it was like, you know, to the point that God wants to do like such a miraculous work in you that there is like zero doubt of where it came from, because everybody's like, nah, that's never gonna happen for you.
Sheba, if you take it to your own hands and you kill this person, you know, the Most High could be like, I was gonna do this.
Yeah.
I was gonna do something way better.
Yeah.
Way better, right? That you couldn't even do, but they know it's you.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Elisha brought the people, said, bring your prophets.
Yeah.
Bring them here, 400, 450 for Ahab, 450 for Baal. Put the water on there. Go and do it. Yeah. You're doing all this shaking and stuff. Nothing happened, right? Nothing happened. Watch this. Now, did I do that?
I mean,
did I do that? Did you see the fire come from heaven? Am I the one, right? That's why I say the Elijah in you. You're the one calling for justice. Divine justice. Not no joke, honey. That's what I'm saying. You're really calling on real power. The Most High, the one who created the heavens and the earth, everything you see here, that moves without no animation. The one who put the sun in place, the thing that goes up and down every day for everything on earth to live and shine. That thing shines. The Most High put it there. So now if you ask the Most High, give me a little Elijah thing in my life, for real. It's not going to happen?
I need a couple of Elisha things.
Okay. That's all I'm saying. Right? And like the Reverend Ike said, if it's not real, shuck 'em. There's a false God, obviously. But that's not the one we're talking about. We're talking about the Most High.
I mean, I think that like it has become like less and less popular to ask God to prove himself to you.
Why not?
But like, right?
Why not?
Like, it's like saying, I know you love me, but you never have to do anything for me.
Stop it.
Huh?
And no woman never said
You're really
that.
going to have to show up sometimes. Like, I understand, like, I'm going to be forgiving and long-suffering, but if you should expect...
Listen.
You should expect some show of...
Even in a relationship, right? Husband and wife. She got to do something for him. He got to do something for her. That's
Period.
Period.
So why shouldn't you expect God to do something
if you
for
have
you?
this relationship,
especially Elisha's like, I'm about to put myself on the line, and you're not even going to show up
for me.
You're not even going to show up.
Like, for real.
You're going to show up. Like, you're going to, like, I'm like yelling your name.
Hello.
To everyone, and you ain't going to show up. You ain't going to help me out.
Okay.
All you got to do is a little fire. That's
why
nothing
I say,
for you.
I am not, me personally, I'm not calling on no idol God. You understand? If I have a better name than the Most High, it's going to come to me. Yeah? But it's the Most High. That's who I call on. That's it. If it's anything else, it does not suffice. Me personally. So if I have a problem, if I need justice, and I'm looking at it, what if I am? And
Yep.
burn them.
Yeah.
Break their teeth.
You should be okay with that. Did you ask for justice?
That's what justice is.
You know what it is.
You know what it is.
You know what it is. Kill that thing. Dead it. Dead it all the way. You don't want it to be like, I kind of just want some of them because I want the situation kind of be okay. It's like you got to be willing to go.
There's a disharmony in nature, in human form.
I mean,
there he go right there. There she go right there. There they go right
but
there.
it seems like we talked about before, it's a story like constant idolatry versus, like going back and forth and losing faith and coming back and losing faith and coming back, like constantly a circle of forgetting.
See, they got this song that says, "Whose side are you leaning on?"
Yep.
I'm leaning on the Lord's side, this side, right?
Yeah.
So keep it over there. Don't be wavering over here. Just
Make a decision.
make a decision.
Okie dokie.
That's what it is. Very good.
I see what you need now.
Now, I will put this in front, and I will say this. The two altars are really a public demonstration, right? When people are doing their idol god worship, they do it in secret, all the vile things, right? But if I were to stand here in front of you, in front of the person who's doing injustice, and I'm the person who is for justice, I'm going to say, okay, do all the thing that you do. Do all the murdering right now. Do all the killing right now. Go ahead. Do it. They won't do it in public. They do everything in secret. Right? Now, the fire that comes down, that's just the truth. The plain old truth. They lick up everything. When you do the truth, then that's when everybody's like, oh man, look at her.
When you do the truth. Can you say that again in a different
When you call upon, when you align yourself with the Most High, right? And you become the mouthpiece for the Most High on earth, as it is in heaven, right? You are going to be the one to go ahead and demonstrate to everybody publicly. You can do this thing in private, you can do it in public. Again, that's what the whole point of the secret place. What you do in your secret, the Lord Most High will reward you openly in public. Because there's nothing harmful that the Most High is going to demonstrate for you, right? Now, if you have these people doing injustice, okay, round them up and murder them and get rid of them.
Oh my God, you almost had a clean thought and you just said so many other nonsenses in the middle. You had a clean thought. Finish the clean thought.
The clean thought is this. You align yourself, the people with Baal, they align themselves with Baal. They do their idol worship. They do some things mostly in private that they don't want the public to know, right? Then they're going to come out in public and say, oh, I am a righteous person. I'm doing this. Okay, show me. Show me. Bring all your prophets. Prophets cannot demonstrate the truth as depicted in the Bible. Elijah, the one prophet, comes in and says, okay, you know what? I'm going to ask now the Most High to come lick fire down here. Wow. Fire. I'm the truth. Don't you see the people of Israel now? Don't you see? Don't you see? Don't you see who the real Most High God is? It's not Baal. It's the God inside of you. Yes. Okay. Now, let's round up the people who are doing the injustice and
Thank you.
You're welcome.